Welcome back, everybody, to the Queen of TV channel. Now, before we get into our intro, let's get some quick things out of the way first. Okay, first, please watch the video to the very end and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Second, there will be cursing and profanity. If that's not your cup of tea, this channel is not for you. Lastly, not really. I will be giving my honest opinion about the episode and the show as a whole. Fourth, I watched this episode before I went to work, so hopefully I can remember everything. So I'm gonna do like I did for the last two episodes, like break it up and focus on one plot at a time. And lastly, I'm hoping I'm not getting sick. It is cold, so if you're wondering if I'm wrapped up, this is why I'm wrapped up. So without further ado, let's get into our intro. Hello, everyone. I am your host, the Queen herself, and you are the Prince and Princesses. You are either a subscriber or you are a viewer. Either way, welcome. Today, we'll be talking about H2O Just Add Water, Season 3, Episode 7, Happy Families. I believe that's what it is called. Let me check. Yep, I'm correct. It is Happy Families. So we start this episode at Cleo's house, and Dom is informing her that he wants to go on a picnic with him, the girls, and Sam. Cleo brings up that has he had this conversation with Kim first. Kim is not happy about it, and we learn real quick why. Now I trying to give these characters the benefit of the doubt, and I need to stop doing that because now I realize why Kim actually has an issue with Sam. Turns out, ever since their parents got divorced, Dom has been stupidly spending all his money on Kim and her materialistic values, and apparently we see her use that to her advantage because her dad being with somebody means a woman in the house is going to start controlling the money flow. So she brings up to her dad that she doesn't have a new swimsuit, but she finds one, which cuts off his conversation with Cleo as they try to talk about the situation. As Cleo's not sure about going to the beach for a picnic because, of course, she cannot get wet. Now, when they tell Sam the news, she's happy about it. She says she bought these water surfing boards that they could use, but Cleo declines as she can't get wet. Kim even shows off her bathing suit, obviously showing off how materialistic she's gotten as time go on. So when they go to the beach, Cleo's moping. She's sitting by herself, and truth be told, everything seems to be fine. Sam tries to get Cleo in the water, but she refuses. Then when Cleo is interrupted by Kim, who gets out of the water, throws a towel at her. When she tries to throw it back at Kim, it accidentally hits Sam. So when Sam is trying to explain if there's a problem between her and Cleo, she touches Cleo's leg while Cleo realizes that Sam is wet. She decides to get in the water anyway. They go chasing after her, but she disappears within the water. They make it back to the house where Dom is upset with Cleo and her behavior because they've been looking everywhere over for her, and he's wondering like what is her serious issue and what the problem is. So when we see Cleo have a conversation with Kim, Kim apparently is harshly talking about how her father is never actually going to be good enough for any woman, that him dating is out of the question, he's not a good catch and nothing like that. And Cleo's doing her best to defend her father, but Kim does not care as long as she gets what she wants financially wise. His happiness is less important than her getting what she wants. And when he overhears their conversation, he's upset about it. Cleo asks Kim what is she doing. She's saying she's getting herself a new phone. Okay. So later on, Cleo talks to Bella, who's having her own issues. And we'll get to that when we talk about the next plot. Cleo admits that her issue with Sam is not that her dad is dating. Her issue is that it's another person she has to keep the secret from, and she doesn't know if she can handle that. But Bella gives her some encouraging words, and they do start talking about other stuff. But when Cleo gets back home, she finds out that her dad actually broke up with Sam, and Sam explains like how it was good for her to be a part of his family, how happy she was with Dom and everything, and it makes Cleo feel really bad. So the next day she talks to her dad and she gives him some encouragement on just going for it and being happy. Like, stop waiting for that moment. Just be in within the moment. So that immediately backfires because they find out that he decided that after only dating for what, not even a damn year, he decided to ask her to marry him. Bear in mind, they started dating in episode 4, and this is episode 7. And I don't care what nobody say. They've been practically together for about what, a month or two, and they are engaged. Guess how many episodes it's gonna be before they get married? So obviously, Cleo is shocked by this news, but she congratulates them. Kim isn't happy about it. She's upset. Cleo claims that Kim is actually scared, and Kim says she's not, but Cleo is. Cleo obviously is trying to be endearing to Kim, but hell, who can you be endearing to this thing for? This is an unendearing person. So Dom asks if everything's okay, and she says yes, and she apologizes for what happened before. She brings up think him buying her new phone or something else, and he said yeah, just let him run it by Sam first. And then under her breath she says, and now the nightmare begins. So her money trip is ended because now her dad is with someone that's going to be on his ass about their finances. Now that that story is wrapped up, let's move on to the Rikki, Zane, Bella, Sophie saga. Sophie and Will are at the cafe where Sophie is owing money. She has to pay for her business school. She is an adult. She is in college. So, she ends up needing a job. This is when she catches the eyes of Zane. Well, Zane catches her eyes because she is immediately smitten with him. Except when she asks Will about him, Will tells her to stay clear, and she sees Rikki come out of the cafe and kiss him, and he kisses her back. So it signified that yes, Sophie was very aware that she had a boy, that he had a whole girlfriend. So she's gonna get the same energy I gave Charlotte. I ain't got no respect for nobody that likes other people's men. You are not a victim. So she ends up getting this bright idea that she's going to work there. She goes into her interview. She says what sounds good. Nate is sold, and Zane is showing that he's probably sold too. She even went as far as to cut in line just to be the first one to go in there. And when she comes out, she lies to all the other participants that she got the job before they even had a chance to talk to Zane, which she lied about. So when Zane comes looking for the other participants, she lies and said that they all just left and couldn't wait, so she gets the job on the spot. Well, unbeknownst to the two of them, Rikki and Bella had actually went to Mako, and they had been talking, and they had a conversation about whether that Rikki should hire a new waitress and stuff like that to help out with the cafe, and Bella wanted to actually work. So Rikki thought it was a good idea and decided to give Bella the job. Well, when they get back to the cafe, they see that Sophie is working there, which Rikki obviously does not like, as she confronts Zane about it. Zane apparently doesn't like the fact that Rikki wants another one of her friends to be a part of the cafe, which is very strange because Bella is a part of the cafe because she sings there. But it seems like to me that Zane never really allowed the mermaid stuff to be that involved into his life. So when he has to involve it, he gets annoyed by it. Okay, I take it back. I can. I still believe that y'all are upset about the Rick and Zane issue and then projecting her onto Will because of that. But I can see why y'all would want her to be with someone like Will, considering that Will wouldn't have this problem like Zane does. Because unlike Lewis, Zane would rather focus on living a normal life than actually having to deal with the life with mer magic. So looks like Lewis and Will look like the better candidates for boyfriends in this magical world. But we'll get to that. So Sophie tries to be endearing and says that she didn't want to cause trouble between the two of them, and they both are still bickering about who should have the job, so it was decided there would be a small competition. Immediately, Sophie is charming up the customers, making sure she gets the best customer service, and on top of that, she even sabotages Bella to be costing her the job while Sophie is hired. Rikki's not happy about this, and Bella is kind of bummed out that Sophie used dirty tricks just to make sure she got the job. Which is fair. She needs the damn job because it's not like she's actually doing anything good and productive with her life, considering she's mooching off her brother. So let her have the motherfucker. I wouldn't even care. So this is when we get the scene of Bella and makeup with Cleo, and Rikki comes in the moon pool, and she isn't sure about Sophie because Sophie seems to be pushy. Now, call it woman's intuition, but Rikki's showing the same type of energy that Cleo showed when she first realized Charlotte was going to be in the picture. That the moment she met the girl, she felt something was off, something was wrong. So she got a sense of why she was there. Because Cleo knew that Charlotte was all over Lewis, even if Lewis denied it, and Rikki can feel that Sophie is being pushy, but that she has ulterior motives. And apparently, her ulterior motive is to get with Zane, despite him having a girlfriend. I wish Rikki had known that from the beginning, but you know what? I digress. So Rikki ends up telling Zane that he decided to let let Sophie have the job, even after he tried to look at other participants. Obviously, he is annoyed, but he accepts it. Now, Bella goes to see Will. And Will apparently is making this business shelf for Sophie. Where the hell is she sleeping? Seriously. Where is she sleeping? So, they get to talking about her, and Will can pick up that Bella isn't having a good impression of Sophie. He says that, Sophie can get under people's skin, but when you get to know her, she got a heart of gold. Yeah, okay, Will. So, Will ends up saying something that confirms what I already know. That when Bella asks him why he apparently is the only person that likes Sophie, he says that he owes her. And I'm going to just tell y'all in the review what the fuck he believes he owes her. Is why he's letting her walk over him and anybody that would. Before you decide that you get frustrated with him. So Bella leaves and decides to give Sophie a chance. She tries to be nice to her, but Sophie is such a bitch. And apparently she sees her as nothing but a distraction. Okay, I gave her this. Yes, Bella made a not good first impression, but not getting to know her, not being happy for her brother and allowing him to have a fucking life, considering that your parents have had this boy over all around the world at different schools without letting him be a literal child for so long, and he's been spending most of his time just absolutely training, and you are aware of this. You as his sister is supposed to help him fight for his happiness, not prevent his happiness. So There's no way that they're going to be friends. Like, they are legit feuding, no matter what anyone says. So Will comes to the cafe. Sophie brings him a bowl of fucking salad. It look like a bunch of fucking salad greens, man. That ain't food. Yeah, bring him a burger. So, he's proud of her, glad she has this job or whatever, and she's happy too. And Rikki sits down with Bella, and Rikki can tell there's something wrong with Bella. And she asks Bella if there's a problem. And Bella decides not to say anything to Rikki, which I kind of fault Bella for. Because I wish Bella had said something to Rikki, because then Rikki could have kept her eye on Sophie. Because obviously Rikki already had a bad feeling about Sophie. So if Rikki knew that Sophie wasn't as nice as she was pretending to be, and she was quite devious, Rikki would have not been so trusting. And would have not let Zane be so trusting and blind to Sophie's behavior. But she kept it to herself because she didn't want any conflict for Will's sake and not having any issues with his family. Now, with that said, let's talk about it. Him and Sophie, my lord, let me just say this. Like, the stuff she was saying about her own father, the way that Kim was just literally tearing this man down, like literally calling him ugly, literally talking about all his flaws and stuff as if they're complete turnoffs. This girl is 13, saying this about her literal father who raised her for 13 years with nothing but love and hard fucking work. Like, the absolute disrespect. And somehow she could just apologize and shit swept under the rug like dumb is too forgiving. Man, if she had been in the real world, somebody would have tore her ass into pieces. There is no way. Shit. And I'm not. And look, it's got nothing to do with his race. Like, cause I know some people are like, yeah, that's how white people raise their kids. I've heard that many times. But I know for a fact there are people who are Caucasian that would whip the shit out of their kids if they talk to them like that. Because they grew up from old school. They grew up around people who were old school. So they picked some shit up. There is no way she would not last one damn day if it had been somebody else. I'm telling you right now, I wish I could put this on TikTok. If this was your daughter, how would this have actually planned out? That whole conversation. That doesn't require the ambulance. That doesn't require her waking up and blacking out. That doesn't require her getting a whooping. How would have this panned out for you? Because there's got to be something worse than giving her an ass whooping. So, Sophie apparently, obviously, and surely is very manipulative. And she's already got her claws in Zane because he already trusts her. And Nate, he'll just go with anything with a pretty fucking face. But what Will was saying about he owes her, she's actually been training him. She's his manager that's been training him to be a professional diver. She's been using his gift and hobby as a diver for publicity and money. So basically, he's not allowed to have a social life because he needs to focus on becoming a world champion. Something that Will does not want. It's what Sophie wants. Because Sophie's whole entire life is about money. Sophie has never actually struggled a day in her life. So Sophie and Will's family is well off because of the way they could travel and the fact they went to the mountains and the Indies. So she obviously grew up as a snob. So of course maybe something happened. Their parents are still traveling. They've cut her off, something. But like her and Will are making their own money. Like Will is actually hustling while Sophie is using Will as her meal ticket. So because she's the reason he's gotten so far as a diver, he feels that he owe her and that he should stand by her no matter what. And it's kind of fucked up. No, it's not even kind of. It is fucked up that he's sitting there and he's going through this. Because it's obvious he's being abused. It's not even a fucking joke at this point. It's obvious that Sophie's abusing him. The fact of the matter is, instead of showing this storyline early on, the show waits. We have to literally wait some few more of some episodes. I believe they didn't start showing her abuse of him until like maybe 1 or 3 episodes before or right after Lewis left the show. And I don't know, maybe because they didn't want to give Lewis PTSD or something. But either way it goes, like it was happening behind the scenes. It's actually been happening for years. And it's so damn mind-boggling to me. But like Sophie is like who Zane used to be back in season 1. So it makes sense why he would gravitate towards her, because she seems like on his level. She seems determined and ambitious, and she's all about business. So him and Rikki have a lot of opposites towards their relationship. So him and Sophie would not have that problem because they kind of got the same working brain cell. But it's like, it still does not make what I know is coming any less harsher. And this is literally like the 7th episode, and there is literally 12 more to go before it starts. And it could have been preventable. It could have been. Now, I'm not going to sit here and point no fingers and no blame. Like, I'm not blaming Bella. Yes, I said, like, I fought Bella for not saying nothing. I'm mad that Bella didn't speak up. The thing about Bella is that Bella is a people pleaser. She doesn't want people to get into arguments or start conflict or step on anybody's toes. She knows that Will loves his sister. She knows that Will's sister means a lot to him. And she sits there and runs to him and tells him that Sophie did this stuff to her. It would make it seem like she's trying to tear apart his family. That's not something she wants to do. She doesn't want to take away Will's sister from him and cause him any harm or grief. So she keeps her mouth shut. But at the same time, that gives Sophie opportunity to continuously torment her, abuse Will, and secretly try to make moves on Zane behind Rikki's back at the same time. I can understand why she didn't speak, but at the same time, being silent makes things worse. Now, with the whole situation with Dom and Sam getting married, I feel like it is very rushed. So I can understand why some people might not actually care about them as a couple, because we don't have enough of them as individuals, their own scenes, to believe that they actually are good together as husband and wife. It seems like this is so fast because they were only introduced as a couple, like starting to become a couple in the 4th episode. And we like only it's episode 7 and they're already engaged. Like, that is super quick. And maybe to a few people it's realistic and some people it's unrealistic, because sometimes it's like a flip of a coin. You never know what happens. Some people actually do get married at first sight, like if you go to Vegas and get really drunk, or if you have an arranged marriage, or you two made a pact that if you was unmarried and have kids for so long you'd get married. So in their case though, they were two individuals who apparently did not want to keep waiting for love and didn't want to sit there and go through the process and the obstacles of knowing each other as a person and actually knowing more about one another before getting married. Like, doing it the normal way, doing it the way where it seems natural, where you two fall in love with with grace, and you learn things about each other, and you try to like work things out before you start a relationship. Go on a couple of dates. No, they don't want to do that. Like they said in the fourth episode, like they ain't getting any younger. Like just to skip all the formalities and let's go into romance. Like they're rushing into this because they don't want to suffer being alone again. Which is the wrong fucking reason to start a relationship and an absolute wrong reason to even get married. Like to get married that fast, and it's like this supposed to be this subtle decoration of love. Like how though? I just don't get it. But they're engaged, they're getting married, and they ain't a damn thing none of us can do about it. So yeah. Like I believe that Sophie and Kim are the absolute worst. When it comes to like villains, I think Kim is like the not the ultimate villain, but she's a villain in like the household where she stays. While Sophie is a villain towards the mermaids because she targeted Rikki and Zane for like no reason. Her hatred for Bella is like how it is with Kim, that she sees Bella as a threat that might stop her dominance over Will. And the only person that Sophie doesn't have a problem with is Cleo, because she hasn't tried nothing with Cleo. But for why Sophie decided to target Zane and Rikki, I believe that Sophie saw potential in Zane and saw a sort of kind of man in Zane, the man that she would be into, a man that fits her archetype. So that's why he caught her eye. He's her ideal man, the rich guy, the business mogul. They fit in her eyes. Same thing with Charlotte. She assumed that Lewis was this smart, simple man, like a 1950s versions of Max, but in the 2000s. And she became smitten with him out of nowhere and literally targeted Cleo as being an obstacle in their relationship, when in reality it's a relationship Lewis didn't even want, and she could not accept that. Same thing with Sophie. Sophie could not accept Zane wanted Rikki. She just hated Rikki for no fucking reason. And I never understood why. Like shit, like the whole thing with Charlotte and Cleo in that third episode wasn't that big of a fucking deal for her to make Cleo her public enemy. So I knew from the jump that it was because Lewis didn't like her back, and she thought it was because Cleo was always in the way. And that wasn't even the case, because once they got together, Lewis was making sure Cleo got in the way. So it was like it was a lose-lose situation. Same thing with Sophie. Because Zane never stopped loving Rikki. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. You have a blessed day. You have a wonderful day. And if no one told you this day, I'm telling you, I love you. And I will see you guys in the next video. So until then, bye.